Shalom Israel. I am Yasher, and this is.
Marina Yasher.
And as you remember, the last video, the last lesson we did was in the book of Jasher, the birth of Moses, part 1. We stopped at chapter 70, verse 33, and we're going to pick up in chapter 70, verses 34 through 51. And we're going to go to chapter 71 and 1 through 16. That's the book of Yasher. So if you have a Sefer Bible, or a Sefer book, rather, please open up the book. I normally put my scriptures on the pages, but there's so much in this book that I can't copy and paste like I do from the books that they don't mind us reading. And that's the reason that they hide these books. And to show you, prove to you that these books are hidden from you, you can type any book in Google you want, and you can bring it up, PDF, and read the entire thing online. But you can't pull up the book of Enoch, the book of Yasher, and Jubilees. It's funny, huh? But you can't pull those up. They don't want you looking in that book because it exposes too much. So for that reason, I mean I could sit here for hours and maybe even a couple of days typing. But these lessons are very important, and we want to make sure that we get them to you. So we're going to start at chapter 70, verse 34. Now remember, we're going to read these scriptures, and then we're going to elaborate on them in order to help you understand what's going on. So, with that being said, let's get started. Chapter 70, verse 34.
And he daily went forth and came into the land of Goshen.
Okay, and he daily went forth. Who? He who? Moses. They told us, or the way they gave us the story, is Moses didn't know he was Hebrew until he was a full-grown man, and it was up until he killed this Egyptian that he discovered who he was. Okay? The truth of the matter is, Moses, from a very young child, visited his parents on a daily basis. So he knew who he was, and he knew who they were. So this he that they're talking about is Moses.
Okay. So yes, Moses daily went forth and came into the land of Goshen, where his brethren and children of Yasharel were. And Moses saw them daily in shortness of breath and hard labor.
They were working hard. The Pharaoh was putting them through hell.
Verse 35. And Moses asked them, saying, wherefore is this labor meted out to you day by day? And they told him all that had befallen them, and all the injunctions which Pharaoh had put upon them before his birth, before Moses was born.
Yeah, before Moses was born.
And they told him all the counsels which Balaam, the son of Beor, had counseled against them. This is a magician, and he's been around a long time.
Yeah, he's been around, and he's served several kings.
Yes. Okay, and what he had also counseled against him in order to slay him when he had taken the king's crown from off his head.
Y'all remember, we talked about that in the last lesson, where Moses, at 3 years old, just a kid, doing something kids do, he saw this pretty crown on the king's head, and he took it off and put it on his head. For that, they wanted to slay Moses. They wanted to kill him. And Balaam was behind this. Balaam wanted to kill Moses because he already knew what was coming. He knew Moses was going to rise up one day, and the kingship of the Pharaoh was threatened. Pay attention.
So, and when Moses heard these things, his anger was kindled against Balaam, and he sought to kill him. And he was in ambush for him day by day. He was looking for him.
Yeah, he was looking for Balaam. He's going to kick that ass.
And Balaam was afraid of Moses, and he and his 2 sons rose up and went forth from Egypt, and they fled and delivered their souls, and betook themselves to the land of Cush, to the Kikianus, king of Cush.
Yeah, they went there, and there's a story there too. But I don't know if I want to get involved with it right now. But man, it's good. But this dude went to Cush. This dude went to Cush, and eventually, there was a king already there. But this cat went over there, and the king had went out to do war, to do battle. And while the king was gone, this cat promoted himself to king. And when the real king came back, they wouldn't let him in. They wouldn't let him in. But we can't get into that right now. But it's, oh man, this thing is so full of juicy meat. It's just ridiculous. Keep on going.
Okay. In verse 40. And Moses was in the king's house, going out and coming in. The Most High gave him favor in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants.
The Most High gave Moses favor.
And in the eyes of all the people of Egypt, and they loved Moses exceedingly.
They saw the greatness in Moses. They didn't know where it was coming from. But the Most High was working his stuff. He was working it.
And the day arrived when Moses went to Goshen to see his brethren, that he saw the children of Yasher in their burdens and hard labor. And Moses was grieved on their account. And Moses returned to Egypt, and came to the house of Pharaoh, and came before the king. And Moses bowed down before the king. And Moses said unto Pharaoh, I pray you, my lord, I have come to seek a small request from you. Turn not away my face empty. And Pharaoh said unto him, Speak. And Moses said unto Pharaoh, Let there be given unto your servants, the children of Yasher, who are in Goshen, 1 day to rest therein from their labor. And the king answered Moses and said, Behold, I have lifted up your face in this thing to grant your request.
Now, in the last lesson we did, we told you about Moses killing this Egyptian, but we didn't tell you why. So in this lesson, we're going to tell you what really happened. Moses didn't kill an innocent Egyptian and then flee out into the desert. That's not how that happened. But we're going to tell you that story today.
In verse 46, and Pharaoh ordered a proclamation to be issued throughout Egypt and Goshen, saying, To you, all the children of Yasher, thus says the king, for 6 days you shall do your work and labor, but on the 7th day you shall rest, and shall not perform any work.
Hi, does that sound familiar to anybody? Sounds like a copycat. Come on, keep going.
And thus you do all the days as the king and Moses, the son of Bathiah, have commanded.
Now, Pharaoh gave Moses his request. Moses said, Can you give my people 1 day off? You know, you working them to death. They have no time for nothing but work. So Pharaoh granted Moses that wish, and they got that 1 day off. Continue.
And Moses rejoiced at this thing which the king had granted to him, and all the children of Yasher did as Moses ordered them. For this thing was from the Most High.
The Most High.
To the children of Yasher. For the Most High hath begun to remember the children of Yasher, to save them for the sake of their fathers.
Hallelujah.
And the Most High was with Moses, and his fame went throughout Egypt. And Moses became great in the eyes of all the Egyptians, and in the eyes of all the children of Yasher, seeking good for his people, Yasher, and speaking words of peace regarding them to the king.
The Most High was raising Moses up. This is why both the Egyptians and the children of Yasher favored Moses so much. They could see the rising star. They saw him coming up.
Okay, so
Okay.
now we're in chapter 71,
Chapter
verse
71,
1.
verse 1.
And when Moses was 18 years old,
18.
he desired to see his father and mother, and he went to them in Goshen. And when Moses had come near Goshen, he came to the place where the children of Yasher were engaged in work, and he observed their burdens. And he saw an Egyptian smiting one of the Hebrew brethren.
Now, I just told you that we were going to tell you the reason Moses killed this Egyptian. We're going to tell you why he killed him, and it's not going to match up to the story you've been told all your life. This is the truth. Let's go with it.
And when the Hebrew man who was beaten saw Moses, he ran to him for help. For the man Moses was greatly respected in the house of Pharaoh. And he said to him, My Lord, attend to me. This Egyptian came to my house in the night, bound me, and came to my woman in my presence.
He raped this man's wife.
And now he seeks to take my life away.
And wanted to kill him. This is why Moses killed him.
And when Moses heard this wicked thing, his anger was kindled against the Egyptian. And he turned this way and the other. And when he saw there was no man there, he smote the Egyptian and hid him in the sand, and delivered the Hebrew from the hand of him that smote him.
Now, just a few minutes ago, we told you that Moses went to the Pharaoh and requested a day off for his people. And the Pharaoh granted that wish. Now, let's watch what happens.
And the Hebrew went to his house, and Moses returned to his home, and went forth and came back to the king's house. And when the man had returned home, he thought of repudiating his woman. He was refusing to accept her now, for it was not right in the house of Jacob for any man to come to his woman after she had been defiled.
This man could not lay with his wife anymore because of what this Egyptian had done to her. So can you imagine all the thoughts and feelings Moses must have had, knowing that this is how things work? This Egyptian took all of this away from that Hebrew man. And yes, it kindled a great anger in Moses because he couldn't give back what he took from this man.
And the woman went and told her brothers, and the woman's brothers sought to slay him, and he fled to his house and escaped. And on the second day Moses went forth to his brethren. He went back to Goshen, and saw, and behold, two men were quarreling. And he said to the wicked one, Why do you smite your neighbor? And he answered him and said to him, Who has set you for a prince and a judge over us?
Let me interject here. And this is not quite related to this story, but the word neighbor, our people are under the impression that our neighbor is anybody that we live next door to, but your neighbor is your like people that are of your nation. That's your neighbor. When you see that in the scriptures, that's what it's talking about. It's not talking about the Spanish people next door or the white man across the street. This neighbor is your people. Okay.
Okay. Do you think to slay me as you did slay the Egyptian? And Moses was afraid, and he said, Surely the thing is known. And Pharaoh heard of this affair, and he ordered Moses to be slain. So the Most High sent his angel, and he appeared unto Pharaoh in the likeness of a captain of the guard.
Listen, the Most High had an angel appear as a judge in Pharaoh's clan. Do you see what's going on here? This is how the Most High was working. He put somebody in there. He put one of his people in there, and Pharaoh did not know it wasn't his own. And he was a judge.
And the angel of the Most High took the sword from the hand of the captain of the guard and took his head off with it. For the likeness of the captain of the guard was turned into the likeness of Moses.
So what happened here? The guard cut one of his own commandeers head off, thinking it was Moses. The Most High had put the image of Moses on one of Pharaoh's men, and another one of Pharaoh's men cut his head off. Is the Most High awesome or not?
And the angel of the Most High took hold of the right hand of Moses and brought him forth from Egypt and placed him from without the borders of Egypt, a distance of 40 days' journey.
The Most High sent an angel to take Moses out of the way of danger. 40 days journey, he took Moses away to get him out of this crap. This is the Most High working, and this is how he works for us today. If we just obey him. How can you obey him without knowing the truth? The books that you've been reading are lying to you. They're mingling truth with lie, and they have everybody confused, which brings it to one thing. We fight each other because we don't know the truth.
Okay, I wasn't going to, I'm going to read it. In verse 12.
It's verse 12 in chapter 71.
And Aaron, his brother alone, remained in the land of Egypt, and he prophesied to the children of Yasher, saying, Thus says the Most High of your ancestors, throw away each man the abominations of his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Egyptians. And the children of Yasher rebelled, and would not hearken to Aaron at that time. And the Most High thought to destroy them, were it not that the Most High remembered the covenant which he had made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Wow.
So in those days, the hand of Pharaoh continued to be severe against the children of Yasher.
Now remember, just a few minutes ago, Pharaoh agreed to give the children of Yasher a day of rest. Okay, since Moses did what he did and Pharaoh found out about it, he reneged, just like the man that he is. Now he went back to treating the children of Yasher the way he had always treated them.
Yeah, and he crushed and oppressed them until a time when the Most High sent forth his word and took notice of them.
So that's going to be it for today. And we're still working on a lot of stuff. And eventually I'm going to get it all to you. So y'all bear with us. And please, if you don't have a Sefer, get one. It's not going to hurt you to read it. But you're going to discover a lot. You're going to discover a lot that they've kept from you. You're going to see the way the story really went down. So, all praises to the Most High, and we'll see you next time. Shalom.